Hello, my most amazing artist. Today I'm going to show you some different ways of weaving. So, first you can use a shuttle if you want. That's what this tool is called, to wrap your yarn around so that it's a little easier to weave. Now we already learned the plain weave, the up-down. Now I'm going to teach you the basket weave. Remember that you don't want your loom to be looking like this, so be really gentle when you pull on the ends. You want to leave it nice and straight. A basket weave is essentially the same thing as the plain weave, but you go by twos instead of by one. So I have an uneven number of strings, that's okay. Just at the end, make sure that you keep your pattern the same. So if I ended off with just one string, I would want to go back again with one. Then you can start by your twos for the basket weave. Pretty easy. Now I'm going to show you what's called the sumac. Now I am going to use kind of a puffy thread for this because I think it leaves a really nice texture, but you could use just your regular yarn too. Now the sumac weave is just going under your thread and looping it around and back under. So you're kind of tying almost a knot on your warp string or the up and down string. And it leaves kind of a nice puffy texture there. So you would just go on every string, start under the warp string, go over and around. Then you would start under, go over and around. You would just do that the entire way. If you wanted to do a double row, you could start the opposite way to go back around again. Now I'm going to show you what's called twining. So with twining, you want to start with two strings going across. So instead of just weaving with one, you would have both strings all the way down. So I like to start with my loop at the end, both strings about the same equal length, and then you're going to make basically an X with your thread or your string. So I'm going under, making an X, under, making an X, going under, making an X, all the way across your warp strings. Now I'm going to show you weft interlocking. So weft interlocking is a really nice way to get two different colors on your weave that kind of interlock or come together. So how you do this is you start on one side with one color, and then you start on the other side with your other color. And I'll show you how in the middle you're going to turn them around or interlock them. So now I have two separate strings that I'm going to loop around each other. See how I'm just twisting them around one another? And then I'm going to come back around the opposite way. So again, this is a good way to make shapes, like maybe boxes or squares, and it's a good way to have two different colors on one row. You could also play around with where you stop or where you interlock them to make some kind of a zigzag. Here I'm going to show you the raya knot. Now this is one of my favorite ones. For the raya knot, what you're going to do is just take equal lengths of your yarn. You want to cut kind of multiple at one time. Then, once you have your yarn all cut and ready to go, you can start. So the raya knot is basically like a fringe. You're making a fringe on your weave. So you're going to take two warp threads and you're going to go over them and wrap it in between, kind of like this. I like to think of it like it has two little legs sticking out. So again, you're going to wrap it under one string and under another, so it has two little legs, and then pull it down. So you can do this just part of the way or all the way across. You can also combine the in-between warp threads. So see how I'm kind of skipping them, but you could also, like I'm showing now, take the in-between ones too, so you have an even fuller fringe. Then you can also trim it to whatever kind of length that you would like it to be. Remember to leave a hand length of yarn every time you cut. That helps it so it doesn't unravel. Look at this weaving technique sheet if you need any help seeing it again.